Hey everybody, my name is Clintleetwood, and I like to make Mechabellum content somewhat as of late. I've been doing some streams over on Twitch, but also I have been helping out with Stoney, doing some co-commentary for the European tournament. So, if you like my content, I'll link Stoney's YouTube page down below. Please give that a follow and subscription, whatever the YouTube terms are. Anyways, this is a replay review by a player by the name of FFA over the Mechabellum Discord, and I just here to give a little bit of help. Just for some background on me, right? I am a rank 70-ish North America player. I hover around the upper 1700s, in the mid 1800s. Regularly play against some of the better players in the game. So I'm going to give some commentary about what I'm seeing and what I think I would do differently given the scenario at hand. So first thoughts here, I do not like this draft. I think Fangs and Steel Balls are just not that good. I do agree with the Arclight pickup, right? I think Arclight Steel Ball is like pretty okay in the opening rounds, but it's gonna be tough, right? Your opponent's going for Stormcaller Crawler. Two of these units are very vulnerable to it. With these not being able to efficiently chat clear and then being vulnerable to the Stormcaller DPS. So let's just fast forward here just a smidge. Okay, so actually, let's pause for a smidge. A couple things to note here. Your opponent is cost control with Stormcaller Crawler, and you are supply spec with Fang Ball. Your opponent has gone for rapid resupply round one. Given that they're cost control, this should leave them with 200 supplies next round. That's not really that significant. You'll have double their supply, and we gotta try to wrestle back some tempo here. So some things that I like to talk about is this concept of negative space, right? If this is a canvas, right, we have all of this being essentially open space. So your opponent has asymmetrically moved all their units to this side, and we don't have that option. So, right, if we just take this in raw numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we have 4 units matching, I mean, we're always going to lose. Almost always going to lose. So we either need to be doing a couple of different things here, and that is we need to be matching this push. So that involves like selling off some units here, or we need to be doing some things early on that buy us time to beef up this side. And by that I mean, right, we can have like a Phoenix flank in this corner. We could be pushing this tower early on. We have some negative space back here that we can abuse. And yeah, we need to be able to... This is a lot of pressure, right? So we need to try to keep ourselves alive. And I imagine this is going to kind of go as I imagine, right? These marksmen are going to one-shot these balls. And there's just going to be too much stuff left over here for us to properly deal with everything. This tower debuff's kind of brutal. You know, I mean, this goes about how it should go. Okay, round one. A lot of damage, honestly, for round one. Ideally, right, we want to try to make these early rounds still kind of close. Health is a resource, and you should use it. But if you're taking big swings like this early on, it's going to be tough for you to stabilize later if you need to. Some of the later rounds, right, with certain spells like Orbital, Lightning Storm, Oil, Fire, can make things very swingy. I think this Mustang call is a bad idea. I think it's weakened to everything the board is, your opponent is doing. With that being, crawlers push Mustangs, like you can see right here, and these assault marksmen basically are super juiced arc lights that will completely hose these guys. So your opponent does missile, and it looks like they've gone for a level over here. So it's going to make pushing that tower a little more difficult, right? But not impossible. The early shield is very smart from your opponent, and your opponent's playing a very, what I would consider like a very aggressive and a proper, in my mind, cost control spec. They're really pushing you, and they realize that you don't have anything that really cracks the shield. So we need to be answering that quickly. So we know that the opponent has gone for a missile here last round, right? Something that we probably want to consider. I'm going to pause real quick and explain my thought before we go back to what units are picked up from each side. Something you probably want to consider here, right? Crawlers in here to run in and tank the missile. And we have steel balls over here. These steel balls will run in, and they don't care about how much HP this tower has. Their damage ramps up to an absurd margin and will very quickly start to tick down large HP pools. Something you should be looking out for as well into this assault marksman kind of gameplay is that this heavy idea of flanking. Typically, what I see is like a marksman here, marksman here, marksman here, marksman here. That can be very overwhelming. So something that I want to see from your side, right, is a very cohesive plan on how to deal with that. Right now, we only have 3 units of chaff. I think that just doesn't cut it. I would like to see like a triple crawler deploy, like here, here, and here. Granted, those would probably still maybe this one's a little of a bad idea, right? Because they'll run forward with these bangs and die. So maybe something like in this back corner. But also, if we're having a tough time dealing with these storm crawlers, right, we could take that third pack of crawlers that I was mentioning here, put them up here, and have them mobile beacon away from the tower. And that would end up pulling all this army this way. So let's see what you end up grabbing, what your opponent ends up grabbing, and let's see if we can piece together a board state here. Okay, we go for wasps. I'm not sure I understand. I think these get completely and utterly demolished by what's on the board. It would make sense in my mind if you had shield, but we don't. So this feels like kind of a dead pick. In my mind, if I'm you, something that I've been messing around with a lot recently into assault mode marksman is typhoons. I think that's probably like your best pickup here. Typhoons and a bunch of crawlers would be really strong into what's going on the board, I think. But let's see how this plays out. And we go for... So I understand your line of thinking here. Your idea is that we want to slow down the DPS from these Stormcallers. I think this is a trap, though, and I see a lot of new players or lower MMR players. And this isn't me trying to cast any amount of shade here, right? I just see a lot of players fall into this trap. I don't think this is a good pickup. One, right? If I have only 2 things of Stormcallers, right, I can take this sell option here and sell these off. Now you have 2 units effectively doing nothing. And if you want to tech them out to do anything else, like let's say if I go Mass Wasp or something, right, you don't have a great answer for it, you might want to click this button. You're down 500 credits at that point. And I'm up 400 credits. So it's a losing battle. I think something that you should consider, and a much cheaper option in general, right, is 1 pack of crawlers, mobile beacon. Mobile Beacon will allow you to, and it's the same price as selecting Missile Interceptor, right? It's 200 credits, a unit and a spell, so to speak. And it's a more, I believe personally, efficient method of dealing with this sort of concentrated Stormcaller stuff. So I don't think this is going to work out. I think this is a losing tempo play, and by that I mean this idea of tempo. Your opponent is asymmetrically aggroed against you and has gained a lot of tempo early on from extra credits from an early tech, and is gained a couple rounds. There's a lot of pressure mounting on you, and you feel like you need to answer it, and that's sort of what I mean by this concept of tempo. And sure enough, right, we see a flank down here. This is your opponent using your negative space against you, right? We had all of our units essentially up here, and we have all of this open. So your opponent's taking advantage of that. I don't see you taking the same amount of advantage, right? Once again, we could have a group of crawlers here, run in, take the missile, and then have some steel balls slowly phase in, run over here, and then kill the tower. And what you're likely going to see in the next couple rounds, right, is another flank down here. Because once again, we have a bunch of negative space, and we have nothing to really deal with that. So your opponent has the tempo firmly in their hands, and they're being very aggressive with it. Yeah, see these wasps just fall over. It's going to be a tough flank to deal with. Yeah, and that missile gets us again. And this is a lot of damage on the board, fortunately. Speed this up. So something that we can potentially do here, right, is that we do run EMP on our arc lights. So something we can consider is going for EMP arc lights to shut off the marksman, and something like scorpions to one-shot them, or maybe something else entirely. But the main point I'm getting at, right, is that if we turn off this tech, they become simple marksmen. And marksmen, they lose all of their HP at that point, and they're basically one-shottable by a lot of units in the game. So something to consider here, right, is that if my opponent is going into marksman, assault mode marksman, that is, I should force a response of photon emission, or some amount of photon, or some amount of coding, so that they have to maintain this tech being on. Let's see if you end up doing that. I think this is okay. Something that I would really like you to see you do right here is click the sticky oil bomb and buy yourself some time here. Especially if you're going scorpions, right? Everything will slowly clump up around here, and it'll give your scorpions a lot of time to work. So let's see. I think the scorpion's fine into this backline over here. But also, something that I would like to see you do is just link a missile right here. This missile would hit all three of these things. It would kill off this pack of crawlers, and immediately this scorpion would latch on to this assault mode marksman and kill it. So something worth considering. I think this is some aggressive teching, I'll be honest. Typically what I see when I'm playing is units don't get tech till about round 4. And granted, we are at round 4, but we have 2 techs on the board. So maybe slow down and try to develop a better board state here. For example, right, we only have 3 units of chat. Generally speaking, these early rounds, those deployments count for so much, and I'm almost always clicking mass recruitment between rounds 1 to 3. There are some exceptions, but almost always. See how this goes. So your opponent burns all of your Mustangs, which is kind of brutal. So there goes our AM way to solve what's going on there. And it looks like, yeah, your opponent does do a flank here, but the assault mode marksman, it makes sense. It's a very tough unit to deal with. But the good news here is, right, we're going to get a ton of XP from killing those typhoons. And we do fall victim to the missile again over here. Yeah, and again, we're basically at death's door at this point. Something that I want to see you consider doing in the future, right, is this idea of pivoting. Pivoting is you taking field recovery, selling out of a unit that is underperforming, and replacing it with a unit that should do better. For example, right, these wasps, how much damage have they done? 5,000. They've killed 13 units and they've been on the board for now, what, 3 rounds? Something like that? 2 or 3 rounds? That's just not acceptable. He's got to go. Field recovery, we sell these. I think that's, what, 400 extra credits that we can play around with. That lets us click this button some more, get some more chaff out on the board, buy some time for our scorpions to do work. It lets us consider taking this electromagnetic shot. I think you're just so tunneled right here, you're not looking at the rest of the board. That's okay, I get it. I've been in this spot too. There's a lot of pressure, and it's very hard to kind of dig yourself out of that hole. But yeah, you need to be pivoting here, I think. We need to be pivoting out of units that are underperforming, like maybe even steel balls, right? Into units that should be doing a lot better, like these scorpions. I think this level is incredibly important. You end up taking photon emission, which I'm not sure I understand. I believe orbital bombardment is offered here, and I think that's just strictly the better card. We should probably be orbitaling this, drop a missile here, let the scorpion one-shot this entire pack back here, drop a missile here, drop another scorpion here, let that one-shot, and then probably play around orbital bombardment ourselves, right? Which would be like a shield here and a shield here. Something that you are doing that I really do like here is rapid resupply. You know that you're about dead, right? And we're basically trying to give ourselves another round. And that is through rapid resupply, temp range, and high mobility. I think the high mobility is a bit of a non-starter. He's coming to you, right? If we needed to close the distance, it'd be more important. But in this case, they're walking at you. So, yeah. You have 400 credits left. Let's see how this goes. What else do you end up grabbing here? Another scorpion, okay. And that's all of our deployments. And where do we put that? One here. Okay, nice. We end up going mobile beacon. And the mobile beacon is with the intent of... I'm not sure. Let's see. Okay, interesting. So it looks like what you're trying to do here is move these guys forward to, and not to this flank, right? So that you can shoot down some missiles. I think what ends up happening, right, is as your opponent clicks range, these are just going to get eviscerated. And if they don't die to the assault marksman, they die to any one of these missiles that are about to hit you. Although, I mean, this looks kind of good for you, huh? Nice. You wrestle around back. You go into round 6. Well done. And then there's nuke. I mean, here's the deal, FFA. You are damned if you do and damned if you don't at this point. You have to play around nuke, which involves putting a bunch of shields up over here. In which case, right, if your opponent doesn't go nuke, you are now very far behind, right? I think laser sights is a good pickup. It's a strong item on a lot of units. I feel like laser sights like here, right, would be very good. But let's see how this goes. I'll be honest though, if I'm your opponent, I am forcing you to play around this nuke. Sure, we need to be clicking rapid resupply again. Oh, because we are about to die. Okay. There's your site here. Not too shabby. I think this is the one Scorpion that's kind of holding it all down for you, I'll be honest. Okay, we go for more AM stings. We do another fancy little mobile beacon trick here. Probably be a little more concentrated on our mobile beacon. It looks like we're grabbing some of these steel balls. I don't know if that's intentional. Okay, more Scorpions. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. This nuke's gonna kill your entire board. Oh, maybe you actually. Oh, a bunch of wasps come in. Yeah, here's the kind of problem. Kind of the problem with using Mustangs as your anti-missile devices is that your opponent can just pivot and dare at any point in the game. Kind of becomes unreachable. Is this enough damage? This is about 400, 500, 600, 700, 950. Yeah, it's about 1,000 damage on the board, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, nope. One more round. Okay. Good job surviving so far, though. I think Fortresses is a good call. I think we're running into the issue that we don't have any, we don't have really great shaft clear. I don't know if the fort back here is a great idea. I'm going for barrier, okay, and AA barrage. It's a strong commitment. It's almost all your cash right there. More AM stings. Oh, and your opponent goes for a really high-level melter. Yeah, I mean, you're in a bad spot. The Scorpion getting in those, very nice over here in the middle. I mean, this looks really good. Do you eke out another round here? I mean, yeah. Okay. Looks like your opponent double-teched as well. Interesting. So, I mean, this is the thing, right, with steel balls, right? Is that they get on your giant, you win. And nicely done. I didn't think that was going to turn around in your favor like that. Looks like the Fortresses are the right call. So, a couple things here. I think your opponent maybe through with this a little bit. I guess it kills the Scorpion. But these frontline Stormcallers make it pretty difficult to protect, right? He was wasting 100 credits on shields every turn. But yeah, you managed to defend just barely. So well done. I do like this idea of Scorpions into this sort of board state. Something that I would like to see you do next time is maybe electromag shot or something to do electromag. AA Fort's very strong against these wasps. Something that I would like to see you also do. Make better use of this field recovery, selling off of units that are performing like these wasps, maybe these steel balls over here, and yeah, we can use that credits for we can use those credits for more impactful stuff. Like double shot could be sick here. Yeah. All right. Well, well done. You managed to grab rapid resupply, temp range, and 1-1 on the tower. So well done, and well played to FFA. I hope this commentary was helpful for your replay. Sorry it ran a little long, but I have a lot to say about this game, it seems. If you guys find this sort of content helpful or enjoyable to watch, by all means, you know, do the YouTube thing. Like, comment, and subscribe. All right, I'm gonna get out of here, and yeah, if you want another, if somebody else would like a replay review of their games, just drop me a ping or an at Clintleetwood and share your replay, and yeah. Anyways, I'm out of here. Bye bye.